The Locked On Podcast Network presents the NBA Big 3 in 30. The 3 biggest stories in the NBA from our local experts at the Locked On Podcast Network. We bring you the real story, why it matters, what's next, who wins the big game, and more, all in 30 minutes. The NBA Big 3 in 30 starts now with the biggest stories in the NBA.
Miami won their 4th straight game on Sunday and are on the top teams in the East.
You are Locked On Heat, your daily Miami Heat podcast.
The Heat's big win over the Philadelphia 76ers. Tight one pretty much throughout the game. Then Miami pulls away, gets the win. A nice, relaxing win, David, on a Sunday afternoon. The Heat went with Kel'el Ware and Bam Adebayo in the starting lineup again, with Andrew Wiggins out, Nikola Jovic out, Tyler Hero obviously still out. The 76ers were without Joel Embiid, so they started Andre Drummond. And one of the things I was looking for early in this game, David, was considering all the rebounding issues that this team has had, Andre Drummond is one of the elite rebounders we've seen in this league ever, right? So Andre Drummond against Kel'el Ware and Bam Adebayo, would they be able to handle it? Specifically Kel'el Ware. And I got to tell you, Ware stepped up. He was tremendous in this game. Did he finish a plus 26, I believe, in this one? He was a plus 20 in Friday night's win over the Bulls. We haven't talked since then. David, this feels like it could potentially be a breakthrough for Kel'el Ware. The way that he's playing, and the numbers are the numbers, and those are great. The rebound, he had a double-double in the first half of this game. All that stuff is great. But I'm watching these games too, and he's acting different, man. Like, he looks different. He's playing with a level of physicality. I think the highlight that the Heat tweeted out was the one where he got Drummond on that double move, where he ends up finishing with the left hand. That was in the first quarter. But my favorite play from Ware in the entire game was, I think it was in the second quarter, just bodying up 2 different 76ers to get from underneath the basket, kind of like pinned under near the stanchion, kind of comes up from under there, muscles his way into position, and gets an offensive rebound and a putback. That was my favorite play of this game. But he's using that physicality. He's not just using his physicality, but using his reach, using his length in a way that it's been a thing that you and I have talked about. It just feels like he doesn't always play to his size. But in this game, He definitely did. Against Chicago, it seemed like he really did. And I'm wondering, based on what we're seeing on the court right now, is this the breakthrough that we've been waiting for Kel'el?
Undoubtedly. I really think this is just a completely different version of the player that we saw, because I think as he's continuing to develop all those physical traits, as well as the skill set that he's fine-tuned since he joined the league, there's a mental edge there now that he didn't have at the start of the season and that we haven't really seen for much of his career. He's acting with aggression. He's moving with intent. His timing has been so great. One of the small things that I've really liked about Kel'el, his ability to snatch the ball off the rim at just the precise moment. It almost feels like it's a goaltend waiting to happen, or more akin to what we see in international FIBA basketball, where he can just snatch the ball off. But his timing is perfect. Like, he's really got that down nailed, and he's just able to ignite either at the end of a possession and then also to a transition basket for Miami. It's been so good to watch this new version of him. I can't help but think it's a breakthrough, because it's clearly the best version of him that we've seen, and it feels like it's not just permanent but sustainable too. Like, he can continue to get better even from what we saw.
Yeah, there's definitely still parts of his game that you want to see rounded out. I think defensively there's still leaps and bounds that he can get better. To me, it's I would like to see him get better as a shot blocker too. Like, the timing thing is starting to get better. It's not exactly where I want it to be, but if he's just like that stuff's going to come with time. Right now, it's, does he have the right intensity? Does he have the right level of urgency? And I do wonder how much of this has to do with the fact that he's just playing next to Bam.
Yeah.
That's
a huge card.
It is, but like, then you watch the game, and I mean, it's really easy to just sort of draw that line from A to B, right? They start playing Ware with Bam, and all of a sudden Ware starts playing better. Therefore, Ware must play with Bam in order to maximize Ware and maximize the C team that's looked really good in wins against Chicago and Philadelphia. But then I'm watching this game too, and there's a lot of minutes where, because Bam and Ware are the only centers who are playing right now. Jovic isn't even playing. So they're basically with one of those guys at all times. So they start games together. They don't play a ton of minutes together, despite starting together. Bam played 32 and a half minutes in this one. Kel'el played 26 minutes in this one. Like I said, Kel'el ended up being a plus 26, 20 points and 16 rebounds in this game on 7 of 13 shooting. That's 54% overall. Did make 2 3-pointers in this one. But I'm watching Khalil by himself out there without Bam. And he's still playing with that level of physicality. This has nothing to do maybe over like some of the plus minus stuff and overall, maybe it sets the tone early, but I do think that there's something else happening here. And to me, I would say the percentage of, hey, this is because he's playing with Bam, maybe 15%, 20% maybe playing with Bam. I think this is mostly just sort of Khalil doing it.
I can't take credit for that. And I mean, honestly, I have to rewatch the minutes there. But to me, I feel like it's worked well when they've been on there. I think his 3-point shot's available to him at a point in time when Bam's not available. Like he's the one who can drift into the corner the same way Bam can. So I think that certainly helped in his regard. But I defensively, like some of the key possessions that he had there, those abilities to pull down those rebounds, block shots, I think Bam's presence out there certainly does help. But it can't take anything away from what we've seen from him. Like he's been really, really good. And it's impressive to see this incredible leap from him. And he's tying it all together, all the traits, the mental toughness and awareness. I mean, we just didn't see this from him, except for maybe spurts. And I think the confidence is there. You wonder what happens when Andrew Wiggins comes back. Like, is Khalil too good to bench at this point? Like, I mean, that seems like a strange question because he just came off the bench before Andrew got hurt.
It's a great question, right? And it was one I'm thinking about because, yeah, I think part of this is Khalil making this breakthrough, and that's obviously helped. The Bam and Ware lineup has also, like, I'm not saying that has nothing to do with anything, right? Like, it has a lot to do with winning these games against Chicago and Philadelphia and minimizing this rebounding issue that has become a real issue, right? It kind of goes back to the math problem. Miami right now is averaging 96 field goal attempts per game. Opponents are averaging about 99. Like, they're losing, despite all the Heat are losing the possession battle on the season. And it's because of all the offensive rebounds that these teams have been getting. Now, there's some noise in that number, right? A lot of that number just has to do with those 5 games that Bam was out. And that's a huge part in this. So if you eliminate those games where Bam was, if you only include the games where Bam's available, whether or not Bam is playing with Ware or Ware's coming off the bench to start these games or whatever, the possession battle is very different. But still, what that shows you is that the margin for error is pretty thin when it comes to the rebounding thing. They have to be dialed in. And the way to kind of minimize that risk is to just play Bam and Ware together. At least for these opening few minutes when teams do tend to start a little bit bigger and before they can kind of set the tone on the offensive glass and all those things. So I do think there's something to starting them together. The rebounding issue has just basically gone away since they've been together. And you just can't ignore that fact. So to your point, David, when Wiggins comes back, I think it means Pelle Larsson goes to the bench. And I think you continue to start Bam and Ware.
It's an interesting proposition there. We should point out, of course, that rookie sensation VJ Edgecombe was out for Philadelphia, but I don't know how much it really would have mattered. Like,
it would have mattered a lot.
Minutes.
I love Edgecombe.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I get that.
He would have cooked them.
You think so? I don't know. Miami's defense.
No, maybe not. I'm joking. I'm joking. There's so much young Dwayne Wade in Edgecombe's game that I'm just like falling in love with this guy on like every day. But
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, but
I think Miami was really good. And we'll talk about, I think their backcourt did a really good job defensively. The combination of Powell and Mitchell was really good. And you can throw Larson into the mix too, because I think he was really helpful in space. And it was just, even Hyman, like it looked really solid out there defensively. So I can't wait to talk about them in the next segment.
To your point, though, if Edgecombe's in there, maybe Trendon Watford isn't scoring 19 points off the bench. Maybe Justin Edwards, isn't going on his little run. Maybe Jared McCain doesn't go on his little run, right? Yeah. So I don't think one Edgecombe in this is enough to swing this game towards the Sixers' way. I think this is a really solid win for the Heat.
The NFL season is rolling along, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for the weekend with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet hits, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits how I want to bet in the moment, whether it's building a same-game parlay or jumping in live as the action unfolds. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the best way to add a little more energy to Sunday. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
The Lakers escape a tight one in Utah.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast.
Let's just say, we'll get to DeAndre Ayton here in a moment, because that is the biggest sort of potentially long-term story coming out of the game. on Sunday night. Lakers do beat Utah 108-106, but man alive, this was a game that looked like the Lakers had salted away with approximately 6 minutes left. The Lakers, according to the ESPN Game Tracker Win Probability Index, had a 98% chance of winning. They were up by 13 against Utah. 98% at 5 minutes to go, 98% at 3 minutes to go, and it was still even 92% with 1 minute to go. With about 17 seconds left, Andy, that got down to about 50%. Like they let a lead get away quickly in those last couple minutes and turned a game that was not great, but they were it was going to get the job done into one that they darn near lost. And it was just kind of indicative of the way they played, I thought, on Sunday.
It's not even that they looked like they were going to lose or could have lost. Had, I believe, the Lakers coaching staff not been especially attentive about a Bryce Sensabaugh three that was originally, it was late in the third quarter, I guess during a timeout or something. It wasn't made entirely clear during the broadcast, but there was a Bryce Sensabaugh three that got wiped away entirely because they looked at it during one of the breaks, saw that he had stepped on the line. So 3 points got taken away from Utah. The Lakers won this game by 2. This was quite literally a game-changing moment in the most literal dictionary definition sense. And also, too, underscores just how in many ways the Lakers were fortunate to get this win despite themselves. You mentioned the close of this game. The close is on a rather long list of things that I did not like about this game, both that the Lakers damn near lost the game in the closing minutes. I did not like the closing group that JJ Redick was running with. There was just and that's just one part of the list of things I did not like about this game. They got the win, and, it matters. They are now tied for second with Denver, behind Oklahoma City, near the top of the standings. So in the grand scheme of things, macro picture, I guess, well, both macro, it's good and bad, because if these things don't get cleaned up, macro, they got a lot of problems.
Well, we'll get into this over the course of the week because, between games and stuff like that. But, this is a time where the Lakers can make, continue stacking wins. They've got the Clippers on Tuesday. They've got the Mavericks on Friday. So again, decent time in between games for them to, both of those games are at home. They've got the Pelicans on Sunday. So those are 3 very winnable games, and, Phoenix visits a week from Monday. So, the Suns have been playing pretty well, but again, you're on your home floor. You can look at this in a couple different ways. They are doing a lot of things that need to be corrected over the course of the season, or they won't continue to win at this pace. But the flip side is they are getting these wins when they're not performing in certain ways. The most glaring, to me at least, thing that, and JJ Redick talked about it, they've talked about it in the locker room, the players, this team cannot shoot to save their lives. They are a bottom feeding 3-point shooting team in just about every metric that you can come up with. And in this league, in the modern NBA, it is very difficult to win if you can't, have some kind of effective infrastructure around threes. And, Sunday night, Luka was 3 of 12 from 3-point range. AR was 1 of 8. LeBron was 0 for 4. So that's 4 for 24 from your 3 best offensive players. That is wretched by any standard.
Luka has gotten into this place over the last, couple weeks in particular, as well as Luka has played overall. and he had 33 points in this game. He is a big reason that they managed to win this game. 10 of 24 from the field, got to the line 12 times, made 10 of them. He had 8 assists, did have 6 turnovers. He, like a lot of guys tonight, got careless with not just the ball, but I think careless with their decision-making in general. They approached this game, I think, very outwardly. Like, we're playing the Utah Jazz. They've won 5 times this year. We know we're better than them. If we can get this done with, anywhere from 45 to 55% good execution, that's what we're going to put into this thing.
It's like one of those games too, like, because they just had a demonstration on Tuesday where, last week, where they weren't great, but they played like 15 minutes of really, really, really good ball where they kind of cranked it up a little bit. And that was enough to really gain the separation that they needed. And there was cruise control from there. I think they thought they could replicate that formula at the very least.
Well, just look, they've won a lot of games. They are winning at a good clip. The season so far has been successful. And I don't want to take away from that because there's no reason to. It's factual. They are winning at one of the best clips in the NBA. But there are times when it feels like they are winning either, I think, like tonight, in spite of themselves, or winning in ways that feel like playing with fire, or winning in ways where, the play of Luka, or at times the play of Austin Reeves, or, LeBron having 6 assists in the fourth quarter in his debut, or a hot night of shooting from Rui, like a few, strong defensive plays from Marcus Smart, whatever it is, it will mask some of the larger problems over 48 minutes because those things can be so effective. But we were talking before about the 3-point shooting. Since November 10th, this is the amount of 3-pointers Luka's taken in a game. 15, 7, 8, 11, 10, 12. That's too many. Like, I know when Luka's step back is going, it can be a deadly, like, unguardable weapon. And it is often indicative of when Luka is just on one of those nights where you're not going to be able to do a damn thing with him. But when it's not falling, I think that shot can sometimes hijack the offense. Ironically, the one guy on this team who can shoot threes, Rui Hachimura, who was 2 of 4 tonight, he never gets enough of them, in part because the guys who are worse at shooting threes take too many. And I know there's a certain amount all these guys need to take to keep an opposing defense honest.
Right. And you need to take open shots when they're there. You need to, shoot to, eventually rediscover your rhythm and blah, blah, blah. The 3-point distribution on this team is out of whack in terms of volume. I think it is out of whack in terms of shot selection. That's the big one to me.
And, guys like Luka and LeBron and Austin, the 3 best players on this team, the 3 guys that are considered the leaders, they need to make more of these threes, but also I think sometimes they need to set a better example in the threes that they take.
Let's stick on this for a minute after the break, because I do think, Luka has not opened himself up to much criticism over the course of this season.
Agreed.
At all.
Agreed.
But if you're going to start picking nits about things that could be better, I think the shot selection aspect of it. No, this is a little bit part of the Luka experience, but that's something we can look at.
The NFL season is rolling along, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for the weekend with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet hits, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits how I want to bet in the moment, whether it's building a same-game parlay or jumping in live as the action unfolds. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the best way to add a little more energy to Sunday. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
The Cavs pick up a nice win over the LA Clippers on Sunday. Donovan Mitchell continues to be absolutely incredible, and the Cavs get nice efforts from a few guys on the edge of the rotation.
You are Locked On Cavs, your daily Cleveland Cavaliers podcast.
The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the LA Clippers 120-105 on Sunday night at Rocket Arena. And the story of this game was Donovan Mitchell. And there are a lot of things to talk about. Like, we will talk about how good Naquan Tomlin was and the fact that Tyrese Proctor went on a personal 8-0 run at the end of the first quarter, start of the second quarter. We'll talk about Evan Mobley's game, DeAndre Hunter's game, but none of that stuff matters right now if Donovan Mitchell is not playing the level of basketball that he's been playing, because it's not just this game against the Clippers. And to go through his box score, he had 37 points on 14 of 22 shooting, was 5 of 9 from deep, 4 of 4 at the free throw line, finished with 8 rebounds, which was the second most on the team, only behind Evan Mobley, had 6 assists, which was the second most on the team, only behind Darius Garland, was a plus 26 in 32 minutes. He, to me, right now, is playing the most complete basketball of his career. And it's the thing that I asked him about after this game, because I do think that we can kind of get a little bit caught up in the weeds on a game-to-game basis, like only talking specifically about the things that happened that night. And yes, Donovan was great in this game. Like, there's so many things that he did well. The efficiency he played with is crazy. But that's like been just kind of who Donovan Mitchell has become this year, right? Like, he has always been this great player since he's been on the Cavs. And I think that he has been a better player since he's been on the Cavs, certainly than he was in Utah. And I think that was kind of expected, maybe not to this extent, but guys grow and develop. And Donovan has certainly done that in his time in Cleveland. But to watch him play at the level that he's playing at, night in and night out, like, there are very few guys, I think, in the NBA that are achieving this on a regular basis. What we are seeing from Donovan Mitchell, because it's not just the scoring. The scoring is obviously the most important part of it. And the fact that he is doing it as efficiently as he is, I think, is what makes this so impressive, because it's easy to look at, Donovan's averaging 30 points a game, but then you dig into, okay, well, how's he getting there? Like, what does his typical game stats look like in order for him to get to 30 points? And it's not like he's just chucking up a bunch of shots. His field goal attempts per game is slightly below what it was his first year in Cleveland. Now, it is higher compared to last year, which last year was the Cavs were healthy. And I think that has certainly been a part of the reason why Donovan has had to carry the load that he's had to carry this year. But he's taking 20.5 shots per game. He's shooting over 51%, almost 52% from the field. He's shooting almost 40% from three. Like, he's doing this. Maybe not, the 3-pointers right now, career high in percentage, the field goal percentage, career high. He's doing it on, yes, minutes that are up from last year, but they're down from his first couple of seasons in Cleveland. Like, he is doing this on an efficiency that we've not seen from Donovan before. And I think that should be one of the most exciting things that we've got about this Cavs season so far, is that Donovan has shown that he has taken his game to another level. And I think what probably is even more exciting than that is this is November, right? Donovan is not going to, at this point, stop getting better. Like, it is really difficult for me to believe that as I sit here on Sunday, November 23rd and talk to you about this, it's really difficult for me to believe that this is Donovan Mitchell's peak, that there's not more that he can tap into. And I think that there will be more. And I think that as the Cavs get healthier, Donovan is going to get better. The numbers might not look as, as full as they do right now in terms of points. Like, in an ideal world, he's not scoring 30 points per game or 31 points per game. It's at 30.8 right now. Like, ideally, you would probably, if you're the Cavs and if you're Donovan too, probably prefer him to be somewhere around 25, 26, because that means you're getting more from Evan Mobley. That means you're getting more from Darius Garland, who did play in this game. And we'll talk about him coming up in a bit too. But overall, I just think you look at what Donovan has done so far. It's the efficiency. It's the completeness of his game, because it's the rebounding side of things. He's averaging 5 rebounds a game. Very good place to be. He's averaging 5.5 assists per game. Like, these are numbers that are on par with what it was 2 years ago, which was when Darius Garland missed so much time because of his jaw injury, which was when Evan Mobley missed a bunch of time. So he had to do those other things, but he's doing those things while shooting at a much more efficient rate than he has before. So it's not like having to do other things is taking away from what he's capable of offensively. He's being this all-time great offensive player in what we're watching while doing everything that it takes to be a winner, right? I think he's playing defense at a very good level, and he's never going to be an all defense type guy, but I think that the effort on that end has not subsided, right? Like, I think that he's been just the most complete basketball player, the most complete version of Donovan Mitchell, not only that we've ever seen, but that has ever existed. Like, that's why we've never seen him, because he's not been this guy before. And I'm not going to try and get into like, where does Donovan Mitchell rank amongst the best players in the NBA? Like, I know that it's up there. I don't know what specific spot, but it's hard to go through the league right now. And there are guys, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say he's the best player in basketball, because that's just not true. But it's hard for me to go through team by team and pick out a lot of guys in the NBA that are playing better basketball than Donovan Mitchell right now. Because so far this season, he has been, I think, one of the best players in the league. Now, I know that the MVP is not something that's voted on in November. It'd be very silly if it were. But right now, it'd be hard for me to fill out a ballot and not have Donovan Mitchell on it. That's how good that he's been. And I asked Kenny Atkinson how to describe what we have seen from Donovan so far this season. And what Atkinson said was, it's insane. Is there any guard playing as well as him in the league? Everybody's going to talk about their scoring. I thought the passing was phenomenal tonight. The lobs and the kickouts to get 13 potential assists is what Kenny said he had. And I have not checked that. I don't think that number is publicly available this close to the game. It will be certainly by the time you listen to this on Monday morning, but by the time I record this, it's not available yet. So he's just in a great place. Great demeanor. He's got great control of the game. He's kind of in his money spot in his career. He just kind of has control of everything, and then just great on the bench leadership wise. He's in a great place. And I think that the way Kenny summed that up is perfect. Like, Donovan does seem to me, and we can talk about the scoring I just did for 5 minutes. We can talk about the passing, which was awesome. I thought him and Evan had some really good two-man game stuff going on that really helped out Evan, something I would certainly like to see more of. And I do wonder where that would be right now had they been playing as many minutes together all year as they did on Sunday night. That might be something to dive into this week. But I do think that that's something that's going to continue to come along. And guess what? I think when I have talked about Kenny Atkinson's rotations and pairing Donovan and Evan, I have looked at it through an Evan Mobley prism, right? Because he is the one right now that maybe has not lived up to expectations so far this year, that he's not taken that next step that so many of us, including myself, thought he would take this year. So I have looked at that through, how can Donovan help Evan? And I do think Donovan will help Evan. And if you look at Evan's box score, and there are things to nitpick about his game, but he was 9-12 from the field. Like, he was very efficient. And again, I think we feel a little bit differently about this game if he makes free throws. But I think, and this is a mistake on my part, I think we also need to look at it as, well, how can playing with Evan help Donovan? Because I do think while Donovan has shown that he doesn't need the help because he's been that good so far this year, I do look at this and say, can Evan Mobley be the one to help Donovan Mitchell reach a different level? Like, is that the question we should be asking? I think that he can. And I do think it's not a coincidence that while we have over these past couple of games where Kenny Atkinson has changed the rotation, so those guys, those two in particular, are playing together a little bit more, I don't think it's a coincidence that Donovan's been super efficient too. Like, go back to the Milwaukee game, and I know that change, I don't believe, was made on that night. I believe it was against Houston, but Donovan finished with 37 points, and those two played the full fourth quarter together. Donovan finished with 37 points in that game on 22 shots, which was just what he did. 14-22 against Milwaukee, same stat line he had against the Clippers. Against Houston, only 21 points, and the Clippers, or the Rockets, were trapping him quite a bit. So that's a little bit of an outlier because of that, but it was on 8 of 17 shooting. Like, that is a good place to be. The last game the Cavs played against the Pacers on Friday night, 32 points on 11 of 22 shooting. So, like, we are seeing, I think, the rise of Donovan Mitchell's efficiency the more that he plays with Evan Mobley. And I think maybe that is one of the things too that we've not thought or talked, and I'm guilty of this. But one of the things that we have not talked about enough, because we have looked through so many things through the Evan Mobley prism, that when you look through things, the Donovan Mitchell prism, it's like, oh yeah, this guy has been, one, just incredible to start the season, but two, I do think he can still get better. I still think he's on his way up. I think this season is going to be the Donovan Mitchell apex season. I think this is going to be the best year of his career. I said that before the year. Obviously, I feel pretty good about that prediction right now, but I think he's not done getting better just because he's hit this level so early this season. I think it's going to continue as this season rolls along.